Thanks for staying with us. It's still Game On right here, and it's now time to delve into the world of football. I will have to start from the continent. It's safe to say that right about now, the Ghanaian football is definitely battling with a whole lot of controversies, especially as it has to do with its football association and, talking about election matters. So much of secrecy, so much of uncertainty, as well as, high cost of funds, among others, are plaguing Ghanaian football's administrative body at this point in time. We know quite well that Ghana also exited the Under-23 African Cup of Nations days ago, courtesy of a 1-1 draw against Guinea that made it sure that they will not be playing at next year's Olympic Games in terms of the football tournament right there. There's so much to talk about concerning Ghanaian football administration right about now. And we have Jerome Otchere, a Ghanaian football writer, joining us to break down some of these controversies. Jerome, it's good to have you on the show. Good evening.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much for joining us. Let's get into it because there are so many things to unpack right here, talking about the state of Ghanaian football. We have ex-footballers also speaking out against the administration. So off the bat, for those who are not aware, why is there so much secrecy concerning the Football Association's elections in terms of the dates and the map out of the plans generally?
Okay, so the Ghana Football Association current administration was elected into office in 2019. And if you are going by their own regulations, the election is, their tenure is supposed to end in October this year. And they are going for Congress next week. In fact, today's week in Kumasi, Ghana's second largest city. And the controversy that is coming up is that according to one club, New Edubiasi United, the JFA is supposed to have sent the agenda for the Congress to members of the association, which they did. But on the agenda, one item was missing, which is the issue of election. What was put on the agenda, however, was about nomination fees for aspirants for the executive council position and then the JFA president. And the issue has been that why would they talk about nomination fees for whoever wants to contest for whatever position, yet will not talk about the roadmap for the election. And that has been one burning issue as we speak.
Okay.
Another issue.
Okay, sorry to butt in because there are so many issues, as I said, for us to unpack. Let's take it one at a time. You just touched on, the issue of the fact that the agenda didn't have elections and what have you. One of the controversies has to do with the cost of the nomination form. The previous election had it pegged at 5,000 Ghana cedis, but this time around we hear it's up to about 50,000 Ghana cedis, which is about a 900% increase, which so many people have deemed a political move to, sideline or isolate some people from the exercise entirely. Quickly touch on that controversy.
Exactly. So many of the view that the astronomical increase in the filing fee from 5,000 Ghana cedis to 50,000 cedis is just too much. It is too much in the sense that 4 years ago, they paid just around, $5,000, 5,000 cedis. And if it's shot to 50,000 cedis without any explanation, except to say that it is to cover for the cost of the election. The questions people are asking is it because the FA doesn't have the money to run the election? Or is it because they want to disqualify aspirants who probably do not have money yet would want to contest? And so that has been one of the controversies. And people are talking about the fact that the FA doesn't have to do that. This is a new FA that was supposed to build, good relationship with its members, but it is looking like they have more or less gone off that course and are pursuing interest other than what represents the interest of the association.
Okay, let's also look at, the allegation that some members of the Football Association were also coerced into signing, approvals in terms of changing the Article 31 and 32 of the Ghanaian Football FA right there. Can you shed more light on that controversy as well?
So that is one allegation one of the clubs put in a letter to the FA last Friday. The allegation is that they have come across an act by the administration collecting signatures from other members to amend certain aspects of their statutes. And one of the statutes they want to amend is Article 32, which makes it mandatory that in an election year like they have this year, the agenda for Congress must include election. And that one is a mandatory regulation. So what the FA is doing is to collect signatures on the quiet, and when they come to Congress, they will make the proposal that here are members and their signatures calling for the amendment of specific articles. And what the club, that is New Edubiase, is saying is that it is not the best of things to do. If you really want to amend parts of their statutes, you have to make it open so that everyone puts in a voice. You don't go collecting signatures and then when you come to Congress, you spring a surprise on anyone.
Okay, let's delve into, a bit of national team football. We'll come back to the administrative part because this is definitely a fallout from the administrative role as well. We know quite well that Ghana has missed out on Olympic football for next year at the Paris Olympics, and reports now have it that the technical team, or technical crew rather, of the under-23 side have been dissolved. And you had Frederick Akiapong, affirming that. Do you think that's the right decision taken by the Ghana FA?
I don't think it is, but under the circumstance, I think they are forced to do so to pacify the angry public. Because, see, the Olympic football team do not play in any real competition. They will come back to maybe Olympic qualifiers in the next 3 or so years. And if you are dissolving the technical team that went to the tournament, and did not perform, exactly what are you doing? Because whether or not you dissolve them, they are not going to do anything until the next 3 or so years. The problem people have pointed to is the fact that our football doesn't seem to have any real plan in terms of development. So if, for instance, the Meteors have gone to the U23 competition and did not perform, this is supposed to be the team that will take over from the Black Stars in a couple of years. So you don't say you are disbanding the technical team until further notice. If you do that, what the signal you are sending is that the people really did not matter. It was just about seeing whether they can qualify for the competition, and if they don't qualify, then they should go away.
Okay, let's look at this issue now, because one of the reasons, a stakeholder, precisely the owner of Elmina Sharks, right here, is Papa Kwesi Ndom, did state on social media on one of his handles that the reason for Ghana's poor performances at tournaments is the fact that there's a huge decline in the standard and quality of the Ghana Premier League. My question to you is, do you lend credence to that assertion? And two, how do you think it can be rectified so that Ghanaian football can hit its lofty heights once again?
Absolutely. Dr. Indum is so right. He's been a football administrator before. He's actually still in the game. He owns a female football team as well as a male football team. And they were recently playing in the Premier League. So he knows what he's talking about. And I agree with everything he said in his commentary on Facebook, that the game is declining, and he cited reasons why he believes the game is declining. And this decline, like he said, is caused by the lack of investment in the game. So if you ask me how are we going to reverse the decline, the answer is very simple. We need to invest in Ghana club football. There isn't so much money being put in the game. The little that is maybe the little that they get from, say, player transfer, it's not put back into the game. It is put in private pockets. And that's what Dr. Ndum was talking about. That, for example, if you sell one player in, say, a whole year, and that player rakes in some bit of money, what you need to do is to put the money back into the game. Now, what they do is that they rather will put the money into some private business somewhere, and that deprives the club of growth. And until we look at these issues from a very holistic point of view, these matters are going to affect Ghana football for some time to come.
Okay, Jerome, we have to wrap up this discussion because of time, but it's definitely an exhaustive one, really, considering the state of football in Ghana at this point in time. We've had ex-internationals like Derek Boateng, as well as Emmanuel Agyemang Badu, also blasting the Ghanaian Football Association for their leadership and how, the shape of the Ghanaian football at this point in time. My question to you in about 40 seconds is this. What are the reforms necessary to, bring Ghanaian football back to its intent and original state?
I think the football administration here simply have to listen. Look, just this evening, Asamoah Gyan was also talking. I'm sure if you go on social media, you find his commentary. It is not accidental that you have 3 ex-internationals, all of them saying the same thing. They have seen something wrong with the game, and I think that the football administrators here simply have to give a hearing to what they are saying, so that once they open up, we can all find solutions to what the problems are.
Okay, thank you very much, Jerome, for your time on the show this evening.
Thank you.